blah blah, welcome aboard, blah blah, National Emo Day is the holiday, blah blah.
Ahoy,
We have a finale to
Captain!
talk about.
Lando!
We have an epic finale to talk about. Dylan, Jeremy, Isaac, you have joined me today. How are you guys doing?
Dude, I'm doing good. Excited to be back, nice and quick to talk about the rest of that.
This
season.
is the quickest we probably turned around to do another episode.
For sure.
We didn't have a week-long hiatus.
Right.
I don't know where you guys want to start on today's episode. If you want to go chronological, or just talk about what needs to be talked about, because
Who is that guy with the green lightsaber?
Oh my gosh,
I
I
don't
have
know.
no idea.
Let's just talk about that. Luke Skywalker made his way back to the light.
I want to see Jake.
Finally.
Dude, we did
Oh,
get
man.
Luke in all his glory.
I can't believe they did it, man.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
does it make you guys feel knowing like what ends up happening to him with the wonderful
I try not to think about.
the wonderful sequel trilogy looms somewhere in the distant future for him.
I'm all on the decanonize the sequels train after
Yeah.
that. Like, this was the final push I needed. Screw those movies.
See, it's funny
Garbage.
because it feels kind of like they are, but at the same time, they've completely used this season to justify Palpatine's return even more.
With the snow clone, yeah.
Yeah,
and,
which is
and Baby Yoda's
unfortunate.
blood. I mean, we know that's... Or, sorry, Grogu. We all know that's what that's leading up to. So.
Mm.
Regardless,
Uh,
I will choose
At
to
what
ignore
point?
it.
At what point did you guys all like accept that they were actually doing Luke? Because for me, it took like a second to actually give in to the fact that it might be Luke Skywalker returning to the show.
Right.
What exact point was it? Was it the watching the green lightsaber
Well,
slice and dice?
I guess I
Yeah.
knew, I knew deep down right as I saw the X-wing enter the hangar. Because when it jumped out of hyperspace, I was like, oh, it's the New Republic. And then they said like, oh, one X-wing fighter.
Yeah, for me, it was when
I was like,
Grogu
what?
lifted his ears and like
yeah,
at attention. I was like, "That's Luke. That's Luke. He's in his
The
X-wing."
black robe did it for me. I was like, there's only one
Right.
man who wears that
yeah,
shade of black.
yeah.
True.
And
I wish
then-
I would have noticed that because I was just so caught up the whole time. I didn't accept that it was Luke until he removed his
So
hood.
you saw that face. My dad,
No.
I watched with him just now, and he was in the same boat. He was like, "There's no
Oh.
way. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
woman, or it's gonna be some new character. Or it's gonna be Ahsoka."
Mhm.
I was telling Isaac before we started, I thought the way the whole meeting of the Jedi was going to play out was they're going to wait to season 3 to actually have Grogu meet someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was going to be Leia, like early on in her training. She was sent as like
That wouldn't surprise me at all. To be
it was
honest.
one of her early trials to go
They're-
get.
Disney is kind of, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to Carrie, but they've kind of fetishized Leia a little bit.
Uh-huh.
They've made her like into like this perfect being. I don't know. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, especially in the sequels, how she's presented like a goddess, practically.
Right, like in Rise of Skywalker, she does give off that sort of vibe, like the way she trains Rey and like
When she beats Luke when they're training.
yeah,
Yeah.
does seem-
Speaking of that,
Much.
I just thought that Disney pretty much hated Luke, so I didn't think they would ever like do anything to just like do him justice.
They have
we've
up
seen
till
him-
this point. Hated
Yeah,
him,
they
I mean,
haven't. They
have.
trashed him in his movie. They won't let him win a single fight
Mm-mm.
that we see
They
him,
made
and
that
then they
stupid
tear him.
animated thing.
Yeah, they tear him off of lunchboxes. Like they make a New Hope posters without him on it. I was like, they hate him. They're not ever gonna do him justice.
Can you imagine though, actually like unironically making a New Hope poster without Luke on it?
They
What a
did.
joke.
There's
What a
like a
joke.
lunchbox or something. No, there's a
Dude.
puzzle, and it's like a poster, like a classic Star Wars poster where there's a bunch of heads on it. Luke's not on it.
That's
Leia's-
insane.
Leia's dead center,
Of course she is. See?
and Luke's
Hey,
not
like-
on.
No hate
Poster.
there. I mean, we all love Leia, but
no,
like
No,
I'm
I
not-
love
I'm not
Leia.
hating.
that's the weird thing about our world today. We can't have both. In order to elevate something, we have to completely remove the other
Right.
thing.
And
It's
that's
like-
what they've done with Leia.
Let me put it this way: they had Greedo on this puzzle.
Oh,
Like-
McClunky.
They had
McClunky.
Greedo.
Also-
they didn't have Luke.
And McClunky made an appearance in the post credits. Did you guys catch
Yes,
that?
it did. I thought
Yeah.
I heard that right.
I actually had to
watch.
watch it again because I was like, did he really say that? And he did.
I love that.
That was pretty funny. So
Before we move on to that, though, did any of you guys tear up at all? Because the internet's full of people just bawling when they watch this scene. I didn't, because I didn't grow up with Luke. I grew up with like Obi-Wan and Anakin,
mhm.
but
I
it was still a pretty awesome scene. But I was like, I feel for all those people that grew up with Luke and just saw him get shredded over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not tear up at Luke. I mean, Luke has grown on me a lot over the years. I used to think he was kind of lame. I have very much a newfound appreciation for him now. But,
Gasp from Dylan.
sorry,
Yeah.
Dylan.
I will
an Anakin
actually
guy.
confirm I did get a little misty eyed there. It's just because
I didn't cry, but I'd pour one out for the homies.
dude, there you
Mhm.
go.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, it is interesting because like none of us grew up with Luke per se, but Luke still means a lot to me just because he is so resilient and so hopeful, and it's just something inspiring because like go through a lot of crap in life, so it's really good to have a Luke Skywalker there to not back down and be
That's-
Also, I texted you guys earlier. It was really heartwarming to see people of like any race or gender just all crying when they saw
excited
Luke.
for
I was like,
Luke,
Luke
right.
touches
Like that's
people
how
more than
powerful
just-
he is.
It is really
Yeah.
interesting that like I don't want to get too far into this, but like how people say you can't relate to somebody because of their skin color, and it's like, well, I'm sorry, but I can because it's a character.
can.
They're a human.
Right.
Like
don't
you're
have to be the
actually
same gender as
segregating
me
things by
or
saying
anything.
I can't relate to them because we're both human beings. I can relate. We both can feel happiness, we both can feel sorrow, and we both can feel loss. I don't see why I would ever not be able to relate to somebody.
It's not like the whole world didn't mourn for Chadwick Boseman, and everyone loved him
Yeah.
as Black
Yeah.
Panther, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie hits different now. But what do you guys think of his fighting style? I saw a lot of Anakin in it. And definitely,
really
there's
nice.
the Vader-esque hallway scene.
Yeah.
My favorite part, the Force Crush.
Yeah, when he force crushes that Dark
was so
Trooper.
cool.
I like.
That was the cherry on top.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Dilly, because man, that's really cool because Luke is unique in that he will get into that gray area. Like
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah,
start
especially
off
this
Return of the Jedi, and he force chokes.
He's
The
joking
guards.
with those Gamorreans.
Yeah,
Shut
like
up, pigs.
this man comes in wearing nothing but black and choking people with the Force. Like, okay, and then
Alright.
he.
What you up to, Luke?
Yeah, but his fighting style was super cool because it was a much more refined version of what we got in the OT,
For sure.
Mhm.
with a little Anakin in there, like you said. So
Yeah, I
it
can
was
definitely
really
tell
cool.
it was Luke's like long, like hard slashes,
Yeah.
like big wide sweeping.
Very
But he also
similar to
did a lot of
Anakin.
like there was a part where he did the like upside down block over the
Uh-huh.
shoulder.
Classic.
I was like, okay, that looks pretty good.
Yeah,
He
he has a really like emotional sort of fighting style.
Yeah. It
I also go ahead, Jeremy.
just them like I hesitate to say updating Luke's fighting style here reminds me of Rebels when we saw Maul and Obi-Wan fight and how like quick they were as sort of an explanation to the fighting style we saw in the OT. That's, At least for Obi-Wan. I just think it's cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of it. I mean, they did it with Vader in Rogue One. It was definitely a updated version of Vader's fighting style, I think.
Yeah.
But you still like, okay, this is. I could see him moving his body like this because of what I've seen before.
Right.
It didn't look like, okay, Vader's doing backflips and stuff.
That would be
Mhm.
interesting.
It would be interesting. And I loved Luke's music
Oh.
during this fight. It was
Yeah.
like mysterious but romantic.
Very Star
and-
Wars.
Yeah. And then when he finally took off his hood,
And we get the
you
classic-
get his
man.
theme.
The Force thing. Oh.
So
glorious.
good. Yeah.
Glorious.
Speaking of the music, that'd be good to talk about for a minute. How did you guys feel about getting dubstep for the Dark
Dark
Troopers?
Troopers.
I'll go first. I'll jump in the water. I kind of liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it was unique. When it first turned on, I was like, I don't know if this works. It's like Star Wars is always a bit more
It's trumpets and
Um,
violins and
yeah,
very
like a bit more
classical.
intricate than dubstep. But
Right.
I don't know, something about the robotic nature of the song, then them
Mhm.
stomping their feet. Parts of it worked. I think the theme could have been a little bit better, but I like that the Dark Troopers had their own unique theme, and I think it was scary too. The theme.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it works better that they are mechanical. I hated the dubstep when it was that Rhino thing in the first season. Remember?
Mm.
And it has
Rhino?
like that. It's not like dubstep, but it had like a big techno song.
Oh, the Mudhorn
And,
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mudhorn.
I don't think it worked there.
I didn't like the song there at all. I thought it was terrible. But I liked it okay.
What did you think, Isaac?
I understood why it was there. Like you guys said, it's the machinery, like they're droids, so it was really
Mhm.
fitting. But I didn't like it per se.
Mhm.
I found it really not Star Warsy.
Mhm.
Right.
I think it would be really cool if they did some sort of reimagining of the Imperial March, because
That would be
obviously
cool.
this is still the
Some
Empire.
jazz. We haven't heard that actually.
Yeah, and we haven't heard that. I can't remember the last time we heard that theme. Probably Rogue One. Maybe in Rise of Skywalker, but that film doesn't count.
I don't want to think about that one.
Yeah. I definitely knew when I heard that theme, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a hit or miss with people. They're either gonna like the
Mm-hmm.
uniqueness, or it's gonna be this doesn't feel like John Williams or feel like Star Wars.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it would have been way better if it was a John Williams composition in my eyes, but it's definitely not something where I just finish the episode and I go, man, I really hated that dubstep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't on my mind.
No, it
To
definitely
go back to
wasn't.
Luke, though, where we just talked about the hood coming off, what do we think of Luke's CGI?
I don't get an opinion on the music.
Oh,
I was
no,
gonna
sorry,
ask
buddy.
Dilly, and then Ethan asked me. So, Dylan, what'd you think of that dubstep?
Yeah, what'd you think of the dubstep?
Wub,
Wub,
Okay,
wub.
all right, thanks, Dylan. And
All right.
moving
So
on.
Yeah,
anyway,
we're moving
back
on.
to Luke.
I thought it was pretty cool. I think it definitely added to the unnatural, like unhuman aspect of them.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Like it definitely set them apart from everything
It's true.
else. Like these things are out of place. You've never seen them before, and this is what they're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Feel that.
Yeah.
And you've heard it here, folks. We have a wide variety of opinions on the
A varied
Dark Troopers.
Variety of
opinion?
opinions.
What's this? 4 white males with differing opinions? You might want to cut that out, but
Yeah, hang on. Cut that out.
It's okay.
uh,
Actually, put it back in. Put it back in.
Yeah.
Oh, one quick thing while we're talking about them, though. When they got vented into space, did any of you actually
Ooh.
think that they were gone?
To be honest, I did, because I was like, this is the last Jedi coming in. Like, just I don't think I'm ever gonna fully trust Star Wars.
So
Like, even if Luke comes back, I'm just like, I'm always gonna expect like something really
Dude,
cool
I know.
to
At
get.
this point, we're so hurt. We're just like, it can't be
Yeah.
true.
We're like
It's
a
literally-
wounded
they were
animal.
He's
gone.
literally got one black glove on, and I'm like, nope, it's
I'm like, it
probably
can't
Ezra.
be. It can't be.
So,
yeah.
They got ejected. I love that they showed the power of one just with a one-on-one fight. I was like, okay,
That was a really
Yeah.
nice setup.
the threat's there. Now let's release them all. But then he like ejects them out the airlock. I was like,
Like,
are you
So-
kidding?
the way I saw it, because we didn't know they were gonna fly back or that Luke was gonna
All
fight
right,
them.
yeah.
But when they showed the one fighting him, I was like, "There's no way they can beat the whole platoon.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Uh-huh.
there's no way if these things stick around that they're gonna win this fight." So it made
Yeah, that is
sense
a nice
that they
setup.
were like, "Oh, we made these things way too strong. Let's just get rid of them."
Yeah. I thought they were done for, and then when they came back, I was like, I'm such a dummy. I know
got
they have
rid of
rocket
them all
boots
right.
and they're
Dude,
droids.
Yeah, not gonna lie, they did that in the Typhon. Is that the name of the planet?
Oh, Tython,
Yeah.
Yeah, that episode, they
Those
did that
Iron Man
freaking
boots.
shot of the Iron Man boots, and I literally, they get vented out, and that fucking image, that image popped into my brain.
Oh no, my computer went away.
That image went into my brain, and I was instantly like, wow, like, come on, man. You know those can fly. Why? Venting them into space and expecting them to not show back up? Like,
Right.
they gotta be coming back here pretty quick.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a silly willy.
Silly
Well,
Mando.
You also have to think it's outer space. Like maybe they'll freeze over.
Maybe.
I just
Hey,
didn't have
let's
hope
be real.
like, for cool stuff to happen in Star
Iron
Wars.
Man
So it's like-
solved the icing problem, Dylan.
Icing problem.
Man, you're telling me you're in the moment. These things are about to bust through the door, and you're like,
Oh, no.
the eject button.
I'm absolutely not saying, like, he did bad. I'm just saying, like,
Oh, okay.
you gotta be like, alright, I vented him. Freaking lock everything down or they're gonna be back.
Moff
Because
Gideon.
they literally just
Icing.
fly right back in. They're like, hey, what's up?
By the way,
Thanks for leaving
my
the shield
predictions
door
on the
open.
Darksaber conflict.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. Dylan
Yeah, good
got
job,
that
Dylan.
right. I'm
What,
a,
and
I'm a doubter.
remind people what it was again. What was
I
that?
said last episode
More importantly, me, because I don't remember.
that if Bo-Katan shows up, like we know,
Dilly literally
Focus
said
on-
that Din was gonna get that dark saber and it was gonna
Uh-huh.
cause a conflict, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, so you predicted the conflict that. Well, we'll get into this a bit, but apparently the Darksaber is pretty much the Elder Wand from Harry Potter,
yeah,
and you have to win it
Yeah.
through a duel.
This
yeah, it's a
Bo-Katan
cultural
is kinda
symbol
Mhm.
of the leader of Mandalore, who in Legends is also called Mandalore.
Yep.
I don't know if they're keeping that, but
Okay, so you pretty much got everything right. Sub the name of being the Mandalore.
yeah, basically.
Okay.
Now,
Well,
I will also point out that the problem of Rebels is still there. Because
Yeah.
I went and found the clip. In
Ooh.
Rebels, Sabine Wren has the Darksaber.
Right.
And she's like, Bo-Katan, I can't lead the Mandalorians. Here, take it. And she just takes it from her.
Yeah.
What?
And they do it in front of like a huge group of Mandalorians.
And they're
It's
all
not
like,
something they do in
yeah,
secret."
woo, we love it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
guys
that
think-
doesn't work now?
if we get to see how Jin and Bo develop, do you think
Jyn Erso.
Bo will fight Mando, or do you think she'll be like, I don't like?
It depends. Her character's
She's been
so
kind of bitchy
confusing
this
right
season.
now.
I think they're heading for a
because
conflict. She's so
in
hostile.
The animated series, she's very kind of understanding and very like, oh, we need to take care of these things. She's not a power monger,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of how they show her in this episode. It's like she sees Jin with the Darksaber and she's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, she's very angry about it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think well, from a like
Whereas in Rebels, when Sabine offers her, she's like, no, I can't do it. And then she goes, okay, maybe I can.
Mhm.
yeah, from a rule of cool perspective, I'm like, okay, if you have a chance to have Bo and Mando fight, you're just gonna take it because people are gonna like to see that. Yeah, I think they'll end up fighting. If we get to see what happens with them, which I think we eventually will. But I'll get to that in a little bit. Kind of bouncing around. What was
The fight between not Mandalorian, Jin, the Mando, and Gideon was not long enough.
okay? We can bounce there.
I need more.
Do you think it was
I
long
was-
enough?
No, I mean, so the thing I like about Mandalorians is they have a lot. Like, they have a lot of different things they can use. Like, in the
Jetpack.
fight between Jango Fett and Obi-Wan, he uses, like,
Mm-hmm.
5 different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And whereas the fight between Gideon and Mando, he had already used everything on the Dark Trooper, so it was just the spear versus saber, which was still cool. It
Uh-huh.
was still really cool. But I like all the different things a Mandalorian can bring to a fight,
Mm-hmm.
and that just wasn't there.
No, I get what you're saying. I definitely, when I first clicked on the episode and I saw it was like only 38 minutes, I was like, oh wow, this finale's not an hour plus. I was like, this isn't gonna be good. I thought the episode was well paced though, so it kind of made up for it. But I do think the episode should have been a bit longer.
Pretty quickly.
When he beat Gideon, I thought, like, holy crap, we kind of took out this whole ship rather quickly.
Yeah.
It's like, is this it? But then we had the Dark Troopers come back. No, I get what you're saying. I guess I felt that too. I basically just thought the whole fight scene of the ship was too fast. So I pretty much roped in Gideon with that. What did you guys think of the fight scene between Gideon and Mando, Isaac and Jeremy?
I don't know how he would have learned this, but I think it would have been kind of sick if he had like a stance. Like I was imagining him pulling up with like a Count Dooku looking ass stance.
Oh yeah.
And like actually fighting, because he was kind of just swinging, which hey I would too. But I think it would have been sick since he seems to know so much. If he was straight up pulling up with some lightsaber moves, I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah, he should have been a bit more. I don't know. I have a theory that Moff Gideon knew he was going to lose, so he intentionally lost because he knew that would create the conflict between Din and Bo-Katan.
He
Which,
does seem to
yeah.
be, he just seems to be playing 4D chess. I could see that happening.
Yeah, he's
Here's a fun
obviously really smart, but like I'm still really bothered by that plot point. Like, homie, there's so much just jumbled mess with the Darksaber lore in like whoever wields it rules Mandalore, and then they suddenly can't choose who they want to rule Mandalore, like by willingly giving the saber. Like, what?
Just take it. Just take it. Like you have what? Like one other Mandalorian on there
Also,
with you? Who
let's
cares?
think here. Along that theory, Bo would have had to have lost the saber to Moff Gideon, so he has to be a competent fighter unless he stole it. And if that's the case, then it was never technically his to begin with. Therefore, it would still be rightfully Bo-Katan's. So
Right.
Does it count?
they've got a
Let's
mess
say
here.
there's a fight, and Bo-Katan just gets wrecked by like a missile, so she's on the ground like barely capable to move. And Gideon was leading the enemy forces. Does that count? Like if he picks it up.
I would
It's like there's a
instantly
question for
say,
Dave Filoni and John
For
Favreau.
real,
I
I would
think she
instantly
would
say
think-
no.
I think she would think it would count. I don't think it would count.
Let's
You know
think with things we actually have, like the Clone Wars. I think of the Pre-Vizsla versus Maul fight. Pre-Vizsla literally shoots like those throwing star
that's a
things
fight I
at
love,
him. That fight is really
Vizsla
good.
uses like everything in his arsenal.
That's definitely one of the best
And
fights of the Clone Wars, I think.
It's supposed to be that way because, like, in order for anyone to take on a Jedi, they have to have some form of advantages, right? Like,
what I mean? Right.
Mhm.
Especially
he's got to have flamethrowers, hidden blades, jetpack, concussion grenades and stuff. Like, you got to have as many advantages as you can, or else the Jedi's just gonna force pull you right onto their saber.
It's just like playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, where you are getting force pulled and force push.
Yeah, there's actually a deleted scene where Maul force pushes Pre-Vizsla out the window and he falls out of bounds and dies.
Respawning. 10.
I'll say this. I found out this fun fact. The guy who portrays Moff Gideon, he definitely gave it his all in the fight scene because he broke 7 of those Darksaber props.
Oh
He
my
was swinging at him
gosh!
so hard.
I
Yeah,
love that guy even more.
Let's
the
go.
dude went at it. So
I
I have to
gotta
give
show
props
y'all
for him
the
for that.
YouTube poop.
He's really a good actor
Oh.
too. The acting.
Also, another thing that I just thought of revolving around the Darksaber. So that whole mindset is like the old Mandalore, like when they were taking over the galaxy. Like that's
Mhm.
where that whole mindset of
I was like
whoever wields this is the ruler.
long before
Mhm.
Duchess Satine.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Bo-Katan's mandate through most of her story is she is not the old Mandalorians. She left Death Watch, which she refers to in this show as a religious sect of zealots.
Mm-hmm.
So
You have way better memory than I do.
Why
I
they
can't
call
Okay,
it
you
the
have to
Watch
remember,
instead of Death
I played Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I roleplayed a Mandalorian.
Oh.
So I went heavy into researching all of their stuff.
There's the YouTube poop in the chat. Wow.
Watch
I
that
can't
when
wait
we're
to
done
watch
here, 'cause
that.
It's got Moff
Okay.
Gideon in it. Not as Moff Gideon, but man, it
Like
is
I
fun.
went and like looked up the language, which there's like a written language for Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Mandalorian lore is really cool.
All right. Let's go back to Luke one final time, though. What do we think of his CGI? Okay, never mind.
The CGI,
CGI on his
question. Here we
face.
go.
What do we think about his... by the way, did you guys see that Mark Hamill portrayed him? At least... I do not know. Yeah, I think it's grappling out, but at the same time, I think whatever they did for Luke's voice, I thought it was pretty well done.
I agree.
Like, it sounded like Luke. from
Surely,
Return
if
of the
they
Jedi.
can de-age a face, they can manipulate a voice to sound like de-aged as well. So
I bet you're right.
maybe, unless there's somebody out there that does a fantastic Luke impression, which if there is, kudos to that person. They did
Yeah,
an excellent
shout out.
job.
But yeah, the double was portrayed by I think someone named like something Lloyd. Jack.
Christopher
I-
Lloyd?
No, it wasn't Christopher.
Jake Lloyd back?
Oh man.
Hey, that would be
I
full
I
circle.
wish.
No,
I
but for
I hope
for
that
the
dude
hood
is doing
reveal,
well.
they had Mark Hamill portray him. I think we're still at a point where the technology isn't there yet, because there's a lot of points. It's like, oh man,
His mouth didn't move much.
He was looking a little Polar Express-y sometimes.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think overall it was really good, but that first shot of him talking, his mouth really didn't move, and then they did a much better job in the second shot, which was really
Mhm.
weird to me.
I think
Like,
the last one looked super.
yeah, the quality
yeah.
of
To
his
me, it got
movements-
worse as it went on. Like every time they cut back to him, like okay,
Their budget was like,
It's expensive.
no, like it's hard to. Here's the thing, though. I didn't care though because we're
Right.
seeing Luke Skywalker.
Oh,
I
I
think that's
didn't care either.
How most people felt.
He could have been
But I-
PlayStation 2 opening cutscene, and I was.
I had to be honest with myself. I was like, okay, that doesn't look. The technology. It's not that it doesn't look good. It's just the technology is not there yet. Because I think. Well, I mean, I've seen some pretty good deep fakes
It's not
of
perfect,
other stuff.
but it was
But-
it was definitely passable.
And it's a TV show, so I think I have to give it a little bit of slack.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Um,
Like Mando VFX are probably the best for any TV show I've seen, because normally
Oh, for
TV
sure, yeah.
shows have some pretty poor VFX.
We also. Grogu finally left the show, which I did not expect that at all. I didn't think we were going to get them separated by the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that's the part I actually got a little misty-eyed on, just because he looked so
Yeah.
freaking adorable, and Mando removing his helmet and stuff. It was all really.
I really like that he
Really
took his
nice.
helmet off.
Yeah, it's
um,
crazy to think that that's the first time they saw like face to face. You know?
Yeah.
It parallels the
that-
end of Return of the Jedi.
I
when
was. It was raining in my room when that happened. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That was weird. There
One
was like a
terrible
weird
day for
misty
rain.
cloud. That was weird.
But sir, there's no clouds.
I also
It's
think
good
it
taste.
it's a good place for Grogu to go. Like
Yeah,
that's probably the
couldn't
best
name
way
a
to get
better
the show
place.
is in the arms of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you're
Um,
not much safer than somewhere like that.
Well,
Unless
for now,
Kylo Ren gets
unless Kylo Ren
involved.
comes
Oh
and
my
kills
gosh.
them.
Nope, nope,
Uh,
nope.
Going to kill you.
I have a theory about what happens from Grogu instead of him being killed by Luke or what's his name, Kylo Ren. I think what's going to end up happening is somewhere down the line they're going to want to do their own, like Luke return moments with Rey, and they're going to have a Jedi Council with Rey, Finn, a grown-up Grogu, maybe like Cal Kestis,
Maybe Ezra.
Ezra
maybe-
Miller. I think
Ezra
that's what's going
Miller?
to happen.
I
Because
don't
they're
wanna-
going to want
Not
to.
Ezra Miller.
Bridger.
Who the heck
Or,
is Ezra Miller?
no.
Ezra,
Ezra
Miller
Bridger.
is Flash and Justice League.
Oh, he's gonna want to know about churros or something.
It's just. Oh man, that'd be so funny.
Ezra Bridger.
Do you know about
I think
brunch? Grogu.
I think they're going to have their
word,
their prized possession Ray start chopping things up with Baby Yoda. I think that's what they're going to do eventually.
Dude, that'll really turn me off. But okay.
I wonder if Grogu will speak backwards.
He'll do Yoda speak.
I need to hear
I
my
don't know.
homie speak. Because we never heard
Is that
Yaddle
like-
speak, so I don't know if that is a...
Is that
His
like a
species
thing for
thing.
their species, or is?
Well,
that just
I know
like-
from KOTOR, like the Yoda
Uh-huh.
species guy, and that doesn't talk in backwards. Like he talks normally.
Lame.
But I don't know. I do think eventually we'll get a season of Mando where he's like in trouble, and then Grogu comes back and saves him as an old man.
That'd be pretty sick.
Or a bratty teenager like they did with Teenage Groot.
Hey, get
They make
Yeah.
teenage jokes the whole time.
He'll be dancing.
That would be epic. I think.
What?
He's
That's
like on
gonna
his
be
phone.
so hard to pull off, though. Like teenage Yoda.
Yeah, it's gonna look weird.
That's
I
gonna
think.
be weird. He's
Also-
like in a punk phase. He's got emo hair in his face, nose ring.
I just keep thinking of more Mandalorian stuff. In Mandalorian culture, at least from what I remember reading, home is not the planet. It's where
The
your
hardest?
people are.
Wow.
Always with her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they keep from Legends or what they've done themselves. It seems like Mandalore is very sacred to them because she's off trying to get it.
The cool thing, though,
Um,
is that they have been bringing a lot back from Legends.
That's true.
Specifically
Yeah.
planets
And-
and stuff.
About the planet Mandalore, they said it's been glassed, so it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like it's like habitable.
No, it's
I
not.
turn that
So-
planet to glass.
It seems like the saber is just going to be what they're going to want besides going back to Mandalore. Some people
Mhm.
said like, oh, the next season's going to be Mando and Bo-Katan trying to resurrect or go back to Mandalore and fight for the throne that way. But it seems like it's completely destroyed rather than just abandoned.
Well, I don't know. Remember in Clone Wars they had those like bubble cities.
Mhm.
So I don't know if those are still around.
I don't know.
Could be.
Speaking of Mandalorians, we can talk about the end credit scene. Oh, sorry, Isaac. What were you going to say?
Oh no, I was just saying I'd be down to go back to Mandalore anytime. Because yeah, they lived in those big
Fortuna the
glass
Hutt.
boxes.
Yeah, we got Fortuna the Hutt, and
Not anymore.
well, yeah,
He got fat.
he got really fat,
His
and he also got really dead very quickly
You got
because
fat.
Boba came down and just capped him in front of. Well, he capped everyone.
Yeah, him and
Actually,
Agent
he's
May.
a sniper.
what's her name?
Oh, yeah.
Fennec.
One, and
Is
then
that her
he
name?
killed him.
Fennec.
Yeah.
I actually don't know the sniper's
You know
name.
she's in her
Fennec.
50s.
yeah, she looks incredible
She
for
looks
50.
incredible.
What do we think of Boba ending up as the ruler of? Is that from the EU? Does Boba become the leader of the crime syndicate at some
From
point?
what I remember, he becomes Mandalore.
Boba Fett does.
Mm-hmm.
I would be
Okay.
down to see that happen in live action. Maybe
That
he
would
and
be the coolest
obviously
thing
he
ever
and Bo-Katan don't get along, and Bo-Katan, as much as I like her, she tends to just lose the dark saber, so
made. Right?
it'll
Mhm.
probably happen.
Did you guys catch on?
Boba
I'm
might
pretty
need to work
sure
out.
that most people don't know this, but I don't think the next season of Mandalorian will have Din Djarin in it. At least as a main protagonist. I think that's why they called, or they had that title card saying the Book of Boba Fett will be in December, which is when the next. Season comes out.
I'd be kind of surprised. Not that it can't happen, but I would be surprised.
Well, I just think since they're having problems with Pedro Pascal,
True.
and all the episodes are called chapters, so I think we just finished the Book of Din Djarin, and now we're gonna do the Book of Boba Fett.
hmm
That'd
I
be
really
fine
like
with
that
me.
theory.
I love Boba.
Yeah, I really like that theory,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't put my money on it personally, even though I think
Uh-huh.
it's really good.
Like,
I do believe he'll come back eventually because
it's
Mhm.
I mean,
definitely
even
not
if they
the
just have
last
to do a
season.
cameo, it's the easiest person to put in a cameo because you can put anyone in the suit, and then I'm sure you can have him come in and do a few voice lines. I think he'll come back eventually, but it seems like they had a lot of problems with him this season.
They're keeping
Homie got
Jin
plenty
around
of
for a long
FaceTime in the
time.
last few episodes. I don't know what he's complaining about.
What?
He got plenty of FaceTime in the last few episodes.
Well, they don't film
Yeah.
chronologically. They film out of order.
I'm just saying, it seems like he got plenty of face time. to
Yeah.
read.
We got more than I thought he was going to get to. That's for sure.
Me
Um,
too.
I think that's what it's going to be though. I think it's going to be the Book of Boba Fett.
They have like a
And-
whole 5-minute conversation where he's just standing there, like, "Oh shit, my helmet's off."
Uh-huh. I think that's about it for this episode. We get to not talk about
Next up,
Mandalorian anymore,
pizza time.
which
Whoa.
pizza time. Finally, we're talking about Spider-Man next time. There's a lot of Spider-Man news coming out, and we've been putting it off for a while. It seems like it's going to be quite the crazy combination
Okay.
of characters.
Thank you.
It's really
No.
funny
Oh,
because
bless you.
Oh my god.
the original Spider-Man 3, they said that film was bad because it had too many characters in it, and now we're getting
and
this,
now
and it has way more.
Like,
But anyway,
triple the character.
that's just a little tidbit to leave
Yeah,
you for
well.
next time.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys, for
Captain.
joining me
for having
tonight.
me, Cap. 10.
Land ho!
Land ho, Captain. We're gonna hit the rocks. We're hitting the. Oh my god.
Oh, okay.